Okay, so because, I mean, the movement and the change you've made in now is actually quite a small little, it feels quite a big change, obviously. Visually, it's not going to look that different, okay? Because we're trying to make your low point go from basically where it was there to where it was there. So it's moving about that much. So you're not going to see really that much change. I just want to showcase some of the sort of positions that we're going to see where the changes are happening, okay? So, as I said, the right foot dragged back a little bit. Yeah. Okay, it's not the end of the world, but it might make it a little bit trickier to move off it and therefore move on to that left side, okay? What you were guilty of before, again, reasonable backswing, almost like a bit of a dip there, so with the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then everything that right foot doesn't really move at all. Got the golf ball, right foot still fairly flat. Knee hasn't really moved. Right knee's almost in the same position it started with. And then sort of starts coming through a little bit here and never really get your knees together to finish that swing, okay? What we want to try and do, as I said, up the top of the backswing where you were before, so same sort of good movement now. It's now moving at that left hip. So if we look at the left hip here, if I put a line there to there, you're moving yourself onto that leg that you said before you weren't too confident doing, and I think you're starting to move there. So at least at impact here now, and just after impact, this leg is more vertical and this one is starting to move in. Has it moved exactly where it needs to get to long term? Of course not, but it's kind of moving down. So if we look at that swing to next week to the week after and so on and so forth, if you improve sort of 1 or 2% each time, then down the line that's where you're going to get to, okay? And you'll see when you sort of come through the shot here now how your knees are more together.
Yeah.
Because you've shifted your weight more, you're more on that side there. If you're hanging back here, it's hard to get the knees this way because you're kind of taking a bit more weight on your stronger leg, I think, yeah? So you're hanging back a little bit more to where you want to go. So by having that stick there was obviously giving you a focus to try to swing it more.
The foot there as well looks, looks more, there's more on that. You can see
there's more pressure. Exactly. I mean, well, everything now is over that front foot, you see, yeah? This one is probably still a little bit back slightly. And again, the fact you've got a bit of daylight between the knees there was nothing there at all. You've moved better onto that front foot, and that's what I say is change the low point, okay? So you can put something on the ground there. If you haven't got alignment sticks, quick disclaimer, don't use your own golf clubs.
I've got old golf clubs.
You've got an old club, that's fine.
Sticks,
I had one person, bless her, they sort of they saw this, I'll put the club down. They put their own 7-iron from their set down, and they came back with that a 7-iron, so they'd shattered it. Exactly. So if you're going to put something down there, an old club, or what a lot of people do, they just put a towel behind the golf ball on the floor there, maybe a club head or a club head and a half behind the ball. So similar kind of thing you're going to get. But the idea is more of a feel-based thing. When you get yourself to the top of the backswing here now, how are you going to get your kind of your angle of attack this way more as opposed to that way more, And by putting something back behind the ball, it kind of just discourages away from hanging back on that right foot, trying to get under it or try and lift it up in the air or whatever it may have been, We're going to try and get you, and again, I don't think you'll be ever anyone who's a big divot taker, obviously, but if we can get you where you're at least striking the ball and then at least brushing the grass, at least it increases your margin of error. So when you're slightly off one day, you're not going to be so off one day, So your bad round won't be that much worse than a good round will be, or an average round will be. I think a lot of people sort of their scores fluctuate from sort of like 2 or 3 shots under their handicap to like 20 shots above their handicap because there's so many things I'm trying to fighting against, So does that kind of make sense as sort of a sequence in there? So again, a lot of good things there in the swing, to be fair. I think if we could just practice with the object, like an old club, whatever it may be, towel behind the ball, this is good. It's now just getting the sensation of moving that left hip, and like I say, you could do that up against the wall just for you as a sort of trust element to know, my left leg can take this, I can do this. You might find initially it's a little bit sort of whatever, you're not feeling comfortable doing that, it might take a bit of practice to get used to that. And this is why I said if we don't have too much sort of flare out with the right foot going back here, you haven't moved too far off it to then have to kind of like move in that way. You only want that movement to be just subtle enough to move that low point, but not to put too much stress on that left quad. Okay? Happy with that?
Great.
Good stuff, right?